the screams. Naked, wet in streams, cold water, running dry, body sunken. Each finger a row of golden rings. Each tell their moments with heroic genes. It's detailed perfectly, encrypt in codes on beams like mercury. Written on scrolls unseen, only the worthy see. Missing head rolls from guillotines and perjury. Body release the soul in surgery. The mirror is clean before it cracks. Killer is back at the murder scene to clean his tracks. At the darkest hour of the night, glides on the wings of bats. Like a black avenger called the crow above a phoenix back. Swirling ravens around my fountain pen. There's all my written text. Unforgiven death, counted sin? If so, I write this epistle, holding the crystal, trying to counter them. With rhymes are balancing, and the mind is challenging. And all my writing books that lightning pushed. Open with burning pages, minister from sermons from ages. A lot remain hermits nameless. Hip-hop ordained minister of greatness. Came in the game from a spaceship. My merkable message, wordsmith on records. Magic, check it. It's like I'm related to the inventor of Tetris. It's weird, cause as my name slowly wrote out in the pages of history, the book disappears. My bars then reappear in shapes that's great. From the top, then slowly drop. It's reoccurring as ghostly hip-hop. I'm the phantom. Hold your attention for ransom. In my father's house, there's many mansions. Each room a bar, lounge, and expanded. A black K stretched next to a Celtic P. The crest etched upon my eldry. Red rosaries, holy beads. They read, I wrote a creed for the dead that goes to the elderly. Try to put a hex or spell on me. Ropes around the necks fell from trees. Open the doors of the cellars, make you dwell in hell for centuries. As the middle age seal reveals the MCKP, an executioner, with a letter from Lucifer. The dreads go booyaka from Memphis to Utica. I'm really that vulgar as I read from the stilly of the vultures. I'm hip-hop, I'm the city and the culture. Watch, I play chess upon the universe. Map first, flat earth, pull up my chair. I use the borough of Queens as my queen. Protect Brooklyn as king. They call check as I place Manhattan on the Madison Square. Then wait calm, you can't touch the Bronx. You in check, you got a problem, try to lift up Harlem. He touched Strong Island next. I start smiling, that's checkmate, Staten Island. 32 pieces from my Charlene set. Who went next? I shuffle tectonic plates like it's a deck. Any concept, my sword complete with all flesh. It's Killah Priest, the war vet. The gold of Psalms, coat of arms, and medals on my broad chest. Othello and shove devils into a vortex. Eyes yellow like the great owl. As my mic appears from out of gray clouds, my verse heard in wave sounds and frequencies of high pitches. Hide in hieroglyphics, the lyrics is aged now. A sage found. How do I stay bound? Young with a face frown. I'm older with grace. On my shoulders go plates. I went from headaches, but now on my head is where they place crowns. Caution when walking on my stage with your sacred grounds.
Anywhere our feet touch become sacred grounds. See us walking over clouds wearing flaming crowns. If you ain't speaking with love, it's just a waste of sound. Sacred ground, laid it down, builders of the ancient mounds. Anywhere our feet touch become sacred ground. See us walking over clouds wearing flaming crowns. If you ain't speaking with love, it's just a waste of sound. Sacred ground, laid it down, builders of the ancient mounds. Lips of death kissed me and it died right before me. See, they say the Grim Reaper took his eyes when he saw me free. They need me like breath, though they cried and ignored me. So ironic, knew I was the most high as a shorty. Trees tried to record me in their rings, years of extra Lakers. Why y'all don't see that every tree's a stack of record players? Nectar maker, nexus maker, killers on our best behavior. They say your next friend could also be your next betrayer. Magic trick, 3 eyes that saw me in half. I'm illustrating, brilliant, raving, spoken, taught me the math. Now it's all I see, thought I did. A seraphim that shared honeydew, melanin with the Z hive that's swarming me. They rhyme and it's boring me to dime. Be the glory, he's Allah's favorite suit. I arrived when he wore me, God. Body in the cleaners, had a stellium in Virgo. Kid adrenochrome sippers, melatonin into Merlot. Flying over New Jeru, I saw a giant priest rhyming on beats. In a circle playing chess with all the boroughs. I said I got next, sat on Barican dropping words, snow like ashes. Seraphis, Caraxes, we played some worlds ago. I reached my jersey pieces from Monopoly and AC. Computer hacked the saxophone, calling music to play me. To learn your pattern, son, your KP. Where should I move my next? Word horse, jumpkin' JC, or is that move smart? I sparked the LEO with ideas to build a new arc. The move is nights falling, cause its curtains made the room dark. I'm serving turns to blows that level the playing field. From owners to renting, the kingdom will never kneel. From Brooklyn to shoulder mug. Upon his head he wore a T-set. I spit a soldier's blood. The mad Maga had that the dagger is still liquid. Watch it on cam, then in slow motion it's still missing. The Knights of Elves cut off their legs and still kick the globe back to the subconscious mind where it existed. Bishop coming at an angle, but would he? Maybe he missed it. Spot the rook coming trying to take the Queen Elizabeth. Swept the pieces off the glass roof while turning slow, breaking ozone layers. Once connected to the turbo deep, they trying to figure out how I cut them with a steel sword. And though I danced across the ceiling, they were still floored. Skilled at war, though I became human, I was still the Lord. Right until my name became huger than a billboard. I almost cracked the firmament, yeah, with just the surface below. While I was in the sky, breakdancing as the earth was rotating in the circle. I created an inferno. My breath across the glass wrote my name into the words glow. Head spinning on the ceiling like iguanas, it's the lizard ill. Nothing ever happened, if it's all a dream, it isn't real. Pictures in your image real, lightning that I get to wheel. Grip the wheel, whip a pill, bananas when I drove off. Grasping with the spoke speak, magic on the throne seat. I'm faster like I don't eat, magic when our souls cross. Say the future limits you, traveling with no peak. Hide and seek the time I sneak back again, but don't peek. I saw myself counting on the map again, the stone sheik. For many kings vanished, cause their character was so weak. Collab with God until we slay the dragon on its own beat. Out the lid, on this pot they battling with no heat. Without my hands I caught a glimpse, then married it with cold feet. I walked on thin ice and melted half until there's no sheet. The Matrix figure skater, one that battling your whole fleet. The greatest figure skater, to the math magician, don't cheat. But what if no one can see us? No squares to hold and keep us. No board and no chess box, just astronosis Jesus. We just played each other's music, it controlled the pieces. Humans on the sidewalk, squares, planet psychokinesis. Every move connects fate, and empty heads and neck weight. With Santos and priests in Australia, we talk to plant ghosts. Created
Make money together. Now that's a checkmate.
Made the devil eat his heart out from off his breastplate.
Peace. Peace. All right. As we wait for the good brother, Knowledge Born Allah, to pull up. Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours. This is your brother Red Pill, reporting live and direct. Yes, we are in the building, KTL and the ATL. Peace, love, and light to the family. All right. Tonight is going to be a monumental show. Yeah, y'all make sure that you get yourselves together. Make sure you have something cold to drink. You know what I mean? Might want to roll up. But we're gonna have a powerful conversation. Shout out to Killah Priest. Shout out to Brother Oba. Shout out to Knowledge Born Allah.
Scientists study the rhesus monkeys near the eastern countries. Greece for Caesars and Egypt for mummies. She takes a sip of honey, the queen bee hides the hive amongst the trees. The monks roll up leaves, harvest rice and tea on a donkey. Flower nectar, lotus, they notice bees hungry. The powder's measured and put in grams in Pakistan. It's stacked in bran and placed upon a caravan. Ancient as the Pharaoh lands and Bantus with a camel stand. They take samples and light candles and gamble, mouth rambling. The taboo of tattoos of Heru on Tamu. Angel Gabriel, Canon Abel, the ring and chain appraisal. Prayer, holy air up the nasal. Ointment, sage roots, and basil. My acupuncture, My voodoo doll pins in Jesus. Dead bleeding from the crucifix holes I hold. Let his blood drip in a bowl. I keep flicking his skull. Then I pick and pinch in his bulge. Then fill the dish with some cloves. Rosemary's in the foot of a crow. Cat's tongue, I'm the black one. Before my raps come, these are my actions. Each doll I pack them with bat crumbs. The board in my pen before I begin. These are my origins. Deadly four sins of the horsemen. The Philistines could guillotine, cut off their foreskins. Saul and David were still the kings. Atheists hold crosses. I'm lawless when writing, flawless, tortured, horrors when rhyming. Rigor mortis outlining with white chalk, lights off. Priest with the mic cross. The killer let the knife talk. Leave you on the sidewalk. The ghost rides the white horse. The rat dies from nighthawks. Unholy ceremony begins, light the torch. The corpse, the seance, white paper, black crayons. Path to the graveyard, the mass under the quasars. Heavens clash with hell. Gravity propels. The mountains lift up as well as the storms fell. Flip a coin, heads or tail on Jezebel. Crucifixions or better nails. Lucifer Christians, the undead dwells. Eyes closed so that the Bible is said spells. He likes his wine red and grells. He held, her eyes were white like the pearls from an oyster shell. When I write it's like show and tell. Israelites in the old Israel. The 60 life with co-and-tell. Pro, chariots of fire follow my flow. With winged angels each direction arching their bows. I get dark as they go. Black cherubim strumming harps get exposed. They come apart into priest fold. Me and the beat becomes one soul. Then I fade into light while waving the mic. Witness the sun scroll. Written in my pineal pen. No beginning, no end. Helen's only begotten that came from the wind. I'm Houdini into Kundalini. I lift my beanie, there's a blue genie. Next to godliness, too cleanly but true kingly. Priest, Absu, Anu, or Inky. Or Inky do, I'm just an MC. KP, the corpse, the seance. White paper, black crayons. The path to the graveyard, the mass under quasars.
That was crazy. That's psychedelic rap.
You hear me? Yeah.
That's psychedelic rap.
Yes. Yes.
Straight psychedelic rap. Like your mind, your brain stretches. The neuroplasticity. If your brain ain't stretching when you listening to that, something wrong with it.
Right.
And when I'm listening to it, I'm like, when the way that he writes, son gotta be either the mind is computing at the level of a supercomputer, or he's just looking at shit in 4 dimensions. But yeah, nah, fuck with that. That's hard. And
we here on the wind down. We here on the wind down. We got a special guest by special request. Killah, he gonna be joining us in a second. He going to AD crib, so he gonna join us from the other side. But we do got a special guest by special request here on the wind down. One of many. So we give it up to one of the foremost thought leaders out here that is changing the way we engage and the way that we interface, and one who prophesied that the revolution would be digitized long before it came into fruition. So we're seeing the after effects of what it is. One half of the Pillar clan, the one, the only, the Jed Red Pillar, back in the building on the podcast. Peace to the God.
peace, peace, peace to the family and whatnot. Honored to be back.
Word. So this wind down is kind of informal. You know what I mean? One of the things that Priest would do from the studio. So, let's get into it. I know you got some things working, you got some things popping, and all of that. So talk to the family about what you got going on that you can share. That ain't G14 classified.
Right. Well, first of all, there's always something popping. You know, I guess from the first day we started this shit, it was popping, and it's been popping ever since. And that's really not even an egotistical statement. That's really the truth. You know, I don't know when it slowed down. I really don't know when nothing has been. It's been a series of pops, and those series of pops actually got us where we're at right now. And we're currently in a reality, or we're currently in a timeline where, you know, things that were spoken of decades ago, conversations that were had decades ago, narratives that were laid out and structured by the likes of Black Dot, by the likes of Professor Griff, you know, even before that, by the likes of Steve Coatley, even before that, by the likes of, you know, Khalid Muhammad, everybody that was talking about the culture, you know, everybody that was speaking of, you know, the power of, or the impact of these things, you know, everybody was talking about hip hop, everybody that was exposing hip hop, everybody that had the testicular fortitude to stand up against hip hop, right? When it wasn't popular, when it wasn't trendy, the ones who said the names like 20 years ago, you know, the ones who talked about the parties 30 years ago. You feel me? Those are the people who, you know, we follow in those footsteps. And now we're in that day and time where it's a conversation that everyone is having. And kudos to everybody that's having this conversation. We live in the evolution or the revolution will be digitized. It has been digitized. So we live in a day and a time where everybody has an opinion and everybody has they have the ability to broadcast themselves. That's never been the we've never had a time like this. We're in a you know we're in a time that's very you know, it could be identified, you know what I'm saying? It was written, and it's not hard to know what these times are because when you go back into the books, come in. When you go and do your research, come in. When you go and do your research, yeah. When you go and do your research, you'll find out that the you know, the abilities that we have right now, it wasn't spoken of in other times. And none of the scrolls that they're talking about are they saying that there was a time where the average man can speak to the world live with no with you know, there's a filter and whatnot, but really with no filter. I literally could be broadcasted through all corners of the earth. My opinion, what I say, if it's a rumor, if it's real, or if it's whatever, it doesn't matter in these days that we live in right now. I could get online every day and speak about a reality that exists only in my head, and I could create a following of groups of people from all around the world. And just because there may be something about me that they relate to, or just the fact that I'm on their phone, they'll take it for the truth. We didn't live, it wasn't like that 20 years ago, knowledge.
That's real. It wasn't like that 10 years ago.
It wasn't like that, but and 30 years ago, and where I live, because I don't know, because I have to always use a disclaimer. Where I live and where I come from, my reality is my, you know, I have a unique reality, and it's not like everybody else's. But where I come from, 30 years ago, if you just came out and start talking about shit that you had no proof of and you couldn't back it up, you would get hands and feet put on you. It was called a universal beatdown in some situations.
Universal beatdown. Word is bond.
Feel me? They didn't go for the hallucinations. They didn't go for you know what I mean? You had to show and prove. So something has been disintegrating over time. Something, so even with the evolution, there's a devolution because, you know, there's what they call, we're in the flood. You know, we're in what is known as the deluge. There's a deluge of information. There's a deluge of people's emotions, you know, energy and motion, and everybody's emoting and whatnot. So what does that create? There creates a deluge of psychosis. So the more we go down the slippery slope, the further down the slope we go, the more people are beginning to show signs of cracking. Because remember, even in this is I don't want to be all over the place, but me and his good brother Q Reeves was talking about four dimensions, and the fourth dimension is depth, right? Depth, like there's width, length, and everything, but they leave out depth. So when you go deep, the underground rappers are underground. They go deep. You know what I mean? They're the deep ones. They have depth. The teachers and whatnot, they bring depth. In hip hop, the fifth pillar, there was consciousness, that was depth, and they removed that and whatnot.
Right.
But when you go too deep, you could start losing it and whatnot. So as
Right.
we're going down this rabbit hole and whatnot, a lot of people are falling apart, and they're not standing. They're not. And reality is somewhat shedding as well. Man is falling. Man is what is known as um, humans are not human, and society has collapsed, and man is degenerating or degrading in a sense, if you understand what I'm saying.
Let me add in, because Brooklyn in the house right now. Brooklyn's getting a shot. I'm here with my brother Che Black. You understand what I'm saying? So we repping the twin of Brooklyn, which is Jersey. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yes, yes, yes.
we got we got the purveyors of New York and New Jersey in the building, prime real estate. So let me bring in the essence of spiritualism to insert in the conversation. My brother's in the building. Let's put it up for Brooklyn's own. My priest, brother Oba.
Good knowledge.
God was
What's
good.
going on?
Red pill, what up?
Salute, what's good with you?
Doing the thing, bit by
Glad-
bit, brick by brick. You know what I mean?
Word.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed.
Welcome to the Wind Down. Killah Priest will be joining us soon. He multitasking through the multiverse. You understand what I'm saying? So he'll be here in the building. I want to make sure that y'all was on screen on deck. You understand? So Red, you was building. I know Oba, he gonna add on.
Yeah, so Oba, what I was building on is the fact that we are in this peculiar day and time where, because the advancement of technology has given a lot of the world the ability to broadcast themselves around the world on every four corners of the earth, and the opportunity, the opportunity for millions of people to just say anything into their phones or their microphones or their computers is a very peculiar thing, because I don't recall this being the thing 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and then I also remember 30 years ago, if you was walking around talking about things and you couldn't back it up and you didn't have any proof of what it is that you were saying, and you didn't have any receipts to state the claims that you were making, they were people assigning universal beatdowns for shit like that, you know. So in these days and times, with so many opinions and so much voice and so many quote unquote, so much energy being emoted through this uh through these electrical airwaves, I will call this, right? We live in a digital age, we live in the electrified age, but there's so many people broadcasting themselves, because the ability to go on your phone now and go live and say things and all of that, that's out there. So that has an effect on the psychosis of regular people. And we're seeing a collapse, a collapse all around the border with man, with humanity. Humans ain't human anymore. They're not human in anymore. They're beginning to kind of like, I would say, devolve, you know?
Well, well, I'll say this. Um, I believe that the spiritual world is co-opting the material world based on the digital world.
Mm,
So if we can imagine that, so because we don't, like right now we all kind of guinea pigs to all of this. We don't really know how much radiation and all that is really being, you know what I'm saying, emitted to us with these things in our pockets and on our faces, right?
right,
So if you can liken spiritual energy to radiation,
right,
then that means that the spiritual, which is the unseen, is taking advantage of this mechanism that we have created, this proverbial Pandora's box that we've opened up. And now the spiritual is taking advantage of the digital because the spiritual is aware of how to manipulate the digital, right? And so, because if you, as a spiritualist, I could tell you that for the amount of spiritual energy around, a lot of it is cunning energy. It finds ways to manipulate things, and so all of this phone business, all of this technology, is my opinion, is that world overwhelming this world, right?
I can see that.
Hold on one second. I'm in the drive-thru. Hold on one second, y'all.
Right. I could definitely see that. The zeros and the ones that are the computer languages, you know, the ingredients for the circuits and whatnot, those are all coming from the continent in spiritual places like the Congo. You know, even when you look at the motherboards of some of these chips mimic the the villages and whatnot, certain geometrical shapes that you see in Africa, like in Dinkra symbols.
So, yeah, the spiritual world is taking advantage of the material world. If you understand that spirits wish that they could do what we do. This is the plane. This is the ethereal plane. This is like the vacation spot for them.
Right.
And
This is like
so they necessarily are taking advantage of all of this digital stuff that we're doing, right? Because if they found a way to manipulate something that it's not tangible, right? It's not a tangible, it's not in the physical, in the material realm. And so they're able to manipulate it. And so this is why people are really kind of like possessed right now.
Yeah, easily, because through the phones is where the spirit is able to move through. It's almost like they showed you that in the Matrix. Because in the Matrix, everything, even when you think about it, not just in the Matrix, but in Superman, the phone plays a big part in these quote unquote fantasy movies where man turns into something greater, right? So through the phone, somebody could become something that they're not.
Right.
So they're a nobody in their town, but they're a streamer through their phone, or they go live through their phones and portray a certain type of, they're a drill rapper through their phones. They're a killer, they're a tough guy, they this and this and that. But in the hood where they live at, nobody even knows who that person is. You feel me? So the phone.
Well, I say that because the virtual, they turn the virtual into the street.
Yes,
The street
they
into the
merged
virtual.
it. Yeah, they
Right?
merged it. They the planes connected in a sense, right? The same way that people are saying that the spirit world lapsed over into this quote unquote this realm that we're in. Like there's been a conjoining. But
Well,
if you,
it was intentional, right?
yes, believe so.
They understand, like I said, they have a different, well, because they have embraced occultism the entire time, and they haven't bought into the lie of witchcraft and the devil and all that. They've been able to co-opt these things and use them at their optimum elevation, because they've never stopped doing it, because we've been cut off from it, right? So you figure the whole time, like, out of the 400 years, 300 have been without our religion, right? And the one thing that separates from us from all other from all other ethnicities, right, is the fact that everybody else has their sense of spirituality.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. We don't.
And so that's the one thing that's been missing, is a true spirituality. Like I, I've said this for years. You could give a cat dog food, but that ain't gonna make him be a real dog.
Right.
He gonna be, he gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's enough to sustain him, but it's not for him, right?
Right.
So if you imagine that with the entire time, whatever, and the only successful revolution that we've had has been the one where we tapped into our ancestry.
To Haiti, right.
Absolutely. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. The trial is in the error. Like, you can see that we, any other time when we was holding the good book, or we was talking about Islam, or we was talking about anything else, we
Right.
didn't get no production,
We didn't get no production. Right.
right? But with
It was,
that Vodun, with that Bula Bula, we took over the island, and so much that they mad that they've been punishing them niggas ever since,
oh, for
right?
sure. Because they're still practicing whatever it is that they came in practicing. And they know that they have to keep that shit suppressed as long as you say crush your enemy, right? And don't let them up.
Yo, let me cut off and come back on because I don't know why I can't barely hear y'all. I'm gonna cut off and
Okay.
come back in.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, that's some profound insight that the brother is just sharing and whatnot about the spirit realm and the digital realm being one and the same, and how spirits are utilizing this quote unquote digital realm. Remember, if we live in a 3D world, then the newer dimension that's been introduced to us over the past 10 years will be the digital realm. But that's a fourth dimension. That's a new dimension. You feel me? A tesseract was created. So the reason why I say that the tesseract is created is because this new dimension, which is called cyberspace or the digital world that people are experiencing, you're seeing me through your phone, wherever you live at or whatever, wherever you at is where I'm broadcasting through. But where I'm at in Atlanta is where I'm at. I'm interfacing with people right here, but my image and my likeness and my content is being broadcasted all around the world, and it's tapping into different people all around the world. So that's a whole new dimension that wasn't a reality 20 years ago. You had to get on broadcast television, you had to go through the broadcast platforms like CBS, NBC, or Fox and whatnot. Now people are broadcasting through their phone, or they're doing streams and whatnot 24/7 in their room playing games and just talking, being broadcast around the world. And yeah, that's profound, you know.
Well, just imagine this.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine this, right?
Yes.
Um. So when you see black men, whether they're Caribbean, Latino, whatever, and they're on the
Yes.
corner and they arguing, there's a certain amount of energy emitted from them doing that. You
Right.
agree?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
So
It's
now,
like a forest field.
right. So now imagine that they've co-opted that and they've allowed, so now you got black men arguing on the internet,
Right.
and the energy that produces, somehow or another, they're siphoning that.
Oh, for sure. Can I share with you the illest experiment that I've seen them do, and it's leading a lot of credulence to the fact that this is a huge spirit cooking, even a malefic type of entity force working. The drill rap, they started off on Twitter in the early 2010s. The kill culture that was born from, remember, a lot of them dudes was getting killed over Twitter, over tweets, right? And then when they was getting bodied and whatnot, they was putting the pictures on Twitter, and they was putting a song about smoking on a nigga, and all of the other people who were making fun of the dead, they were on. This was not an Instagram thing. This was not a YouTube thing. This was a Twitter thing. And then it went into places like subreddit, where they have these. It went on Reddit and 4chan, where they have these subreddit rooms where all of the homicide pictures and the videos are. Shit crazy, bro. Shit crazy, bro. The shit that I got exposed to when I went into the drill wormhole. Oh my goodness, it's ugly, bro. But they were able to siphon all of that energy from these fucking wars that people have been going through. And I'm saying that that's one of the more severe ones. The gender wars, the
Ye-
Black Twitter wars, the
Yeah.
the conscious community wars, the motherfucking the light niggas is everybody now is, oh, these is light skin versus dark skin, FBA versus the teethers. All of these conflicts are being are like pots that they're it's like it's yeah.
Yeah, they figured out a way to siphon off the energy. They know what they're doing. And so
Right.
like that's why I never really I couldn't get into the engagement. Like, I have my rants, but like the back and forth with somebody else and me and him screaming, I'm not
Oh
fitting to
no.
do that with you. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not engaging in that because you're not taking my energy. If I'm gonna emanate some energy, I don't need it to be bouncing back at me like that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have my rant and then I'm good. Like if you feel
Right.
some type of way, then make your own rant. That's fine. But what I'm not gonna do is go back and forth with you, right? Because that's the energy that they need. That's what makes the light bulb glow is the back and forth, right?
Right.
So
The antagonist, protagonist. If there's
exactly.
two
So
parties, go ahead.
and
Yeah.
so when, like you said, when you have those two opposites and they're omitting at the same rate, you get the light from that. That's where you get the energy from. So
Right.
I'm very aware that the spiritual, because the spiritual is cunning and the spiritual there is a benefit from them co-opting the material, because the spiritual is envious of the material.
Mm.
They cannot do what we do.
Right.
Spirits ain't having sex and having orgasms. They don't feel that. They don't
Mm.
know what it is to taste chocolate and the desire for it. They have none of that. And so
Right.
they envy this plane. And so in a nefarious way, they may have necessarily figured out from a collective consciousness that this mechanism that we created, or it was done with nefarious, you know what I'm saying, intentions to
Right.
to absorb energy from people, because like you said, they said like we don't know the effects of what people are going to go through in the next 30, 40 years from having a phone in your pocket, having an isotope in your
Right.
pocket,
In your pocket. Right.
right? You got a radioactive isotope in your pocket. How is that affecting your bones, your lymphatic system, your circular system? How is that going to, because that eventually will lead to the mutation, will lead to the evolution of us, right?
Well, what I feel that is done when we study the electromagnetic auric field and the electromagnetic waves and whatnot, what it did is we basically disrupted our auric field, which put holes in our auras or diminished this quote unquote field that we have around us. Then when you're protected, when you prayed up and you got that aura, like let's say that you went into nature for like 6 months, or when people get locked up and they going for a few years and come back with that glow, and they got that chi, they got that aura because it's preserved. The devices are punching holes in that. So people is going to sleep with the phone next to the head, bro. I know people to fall asleep with the tablet on them. Then they got the Bluetooth popping. Then they got the router in the room. So that attacks your auric field, which is your energy body, you know. And once your energy body becomes compromised, that's where dis-ease, that's where parasites, that's where succubus, that's where a lot of these things, that's where spirit is attacking people, because they said before, back in the days when you had a dis-ease, that you were under demon possession, and that was an attachment.
No. No, I agree with you. And this is what I'm saying. We playing, because and this from as many years as I've been talking.
Right.
I tell you that the cell phone is magic. It's
Right.
magic. You feel me?
Right.
Like
I
I
gotta
can't buy
find.
this shit.
Yeah, it's Matt. I gotta remember the show that you did on Know the Ledge Radio where you really went into the whole thing about the cell phone being the magic and the black mirror, the scrying mirror, and some other things.
Yeah, we talked about that 10, 15 years ago. Like, this
Right.
is magic. This is all of this technology. You want to give it one name or another, that's fine, but it's magic because
At
I'm
the end
talking
of the
to
day.
y'all right now. I've been going in the store, getting in my car, doing all of these different things,
Right.
talking through a box, right?
Right.
That's magic. This
Right.
box allows me to talk to people in other places and see them, visually tell you that, oh, you got on a black, you know what I'm saying, shirt.
Right.
Like, there ain't no telling, I ain't being psychic. I can see you. So
Right.
that's magic because this ain't connected by no cord. There's nothing physical going out there and
Right.
making the connection.
It's all etherical.
Exactly.
It's all unseen.
So it's magic, and it's so the technology is the ability to manipulate it, right?
Right.
So in my tradition, the technology is in the ritual. How do you make this happen? That's the technological component to the
Component.
spirit,
Right.
right? So what do we have? We have a spirit of lust, of
Mhm.
gluttony,
Gluttony, envy.
envy, right? But mainly let's talk about that gluttony. So
Right.
Mr. Combs, whatever he was going through, it was gluttony that promoted that party.
Right.
You don't have enough. There's nothing that satisfies you. What
Nothing. Right. You need more and more.
right? Which is a clear indication that there is some type of spiritual something on you. It's something else that is eating while
Hosting.
you're going. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Hosting and
And so
big time.
that's it. Is gluttony. Like you suffering from something. Something got you going. Right? You
Right.
know what I mean? Like what is that?
Mm.
So not only, like I said, that not only is that got anything to do with just desire, but this gluttonous idea of just consume, 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 right? So you like they said I think he got caught with the work on him. He had some pink cocaine on him when he was going to
Yeah.
turn himself in. Like
Yeah. He
slim,
couldn't let it go.
yeah, like it's over, game over, right? But the idea, you know what I'm saying, that you could continue to consume. Now, like don't get it twisted. I'm not on the parade of watching them hang this man. I don't want no parts of that.
Right.
Right? Because I understand that there's some other, you know what I'm saying, factors involved.
Involved. Right. Let them
Right?
all hang. My thing. Yeah. Let them all. If they gonna do a hanging, let's get them
Yeah,
all.
we'll get an Abercrombie nigga sometime. You know what I
Get
mean?
yeah. Put
Like,
the
let me
Abercrombie
see
nigga
what he
up
was
there.
doing.
Right.
Right. Let's go to Clive Davis' closet and see what's in there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Let's go back to that.
Right. So it's everybody's like, oh, he done wrong. And yeah, I did it, no doubt. But that's not what my beef is. My beef is let's give out justice. You know what I'm saying? Let it be out, you know what I mean, handed out evenly.
Evenly. Right.
So that I'm not
'Cause-
gonna get all upset about you. I don't want to watch a public hanging, especially of a black man. I'm cool off that. Like,
Right.
I'm pretty sure he's not a good person and all that. Yeah, that's cool, but do I want to watch them hang him and castrate him? Nah,
Nope.
not at all.
Right.
You feel me? So, like I said, there's a spirit. These spirits are taking advantage of the digital world, which allows them to enter our world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with a measure of material influence, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, man, this shit is a spiritual war. This is the shit that the old people been talking about. You know, this is what the old people were talking about in terms of using um
I-
lewd language, right?
Right.
They were talking about promiscuity. Um, and you know, a lot of it has to do with our generation was doomed. We the ones that had to deal with the doomsday shit. So, you know, a lot of the behavior is based off of the idea that one is not going to live long anyway.
It's called nihilism.
Right.
Right.
So,
So we was as latchkey kids, and as the children who saw the crack era come through and whatnot, you know, and the ones who witnessed the rise in violence, because my people said that they wasn't doing the violence like that. They wasn't picking up guns the way that they picked it up, and they wasn't touching millions and whatnot. It's interesting about Scarface. There's an article out about Al Pacino, and he's talking about how Scarface wasn't embraced. It wasn't a box office hit at first. People would think that it was a blockbuster. He was like, nah, that shit was
nah, it
kind of,
wasn't.
it
Yeah.
wasn't. It was kind of protested against. It was shunned. But when
Yeah.
hip hop came along, they the ones who exasperated it. So you got these kids from the Bronx, Brooklyn, and whatnot, and Queens, digging pockets, scraping. You know what I mean? Sharing chicken wings and whatnot. And you know, something opened up for them, and everything changed. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And that gluttony took over, and that lust and all of the evils took over. Like Jay-Z said, the evils. You know, we all seen it, Oba. Feel me? We seen the evils take over people.
Certainly. But see, the thing is, so my beef with all of that is the fact that upper middle class got involved in something that did not concern them.
That's right. That's right. And I heard you talk about it before. And this is where we had a lot of the sacrifices that went to the ones that got put on the altar that really shouldn't have been put on the altar, who got in the way. The people who jumped off the porch that had a position and they came here for a reason, and they didn't live out their purpose. They were not favored by the spiritual realm, and they got whacked. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
got removed because they went completely off course.
Well, more importantly, because you only, you know, the universe responds to what you need to do, to your necessity,
To your
right?
necessity, right?
And so, you know, when you have places that are of upper middle class that are promoting something that is not of their culture, like you don't come outside and you don't see the projects, like you don't, so that
Right,
even like down here, you know, people get into the conversation of like, you know, there's tough people everywhere, certainly. But why are you that way? Why are you perpetuating such violence when that if it's not your nature, if it's not
right.
the necessity of your circumstances,
Of your
then
circumstance. Right.
why do you promote that? And so like down here, I'm very um perplexed because I don't understand why everybody wants to be tough. Like you come outside and there's trees. That's enough. When you
Right. That
come from a stone city, right?
city of stone, right? Concrete jungle,
Right. Understand that the ions and everything that's even touching you,
right?
usually negative. They're
Positive ions instead of negative, because the negative is the good one.
those
It comes
trees.
from like the beach. Oh, you
Yeah,
mean in the south? In the south.
yeah. Well, why are
Oh yeah,
you?
they get hit by negative ions all day.
Why are you perpetuating such behavior
Right,
when that's not the nature of your circumstances, right?
right,
So I gotta look at you funny when you tell me how tough you are. Why? Because we, like you said, the nihilism, dealing in situations where we did things because we didn't think that we would live that long, right? And
right,
we had circumstances. You know, we grew up. See, besides just the crack, see, because everybody talk about the crack, but let's talk about HIV, right?
right,
Let's talk about a generation of children coming up in puberty who were having sex with plastic,
right. In
right?
bags. Right,
Yeah, that. there was that, so that there are so many nuances to our circumstances inside the hood that I could tell you that there was a moment when all of the big willies were fat because you didn't want to look skinny because you might got that house in Virginia.
Mm.
So to show that you was healthy was to be fat and overweight. I'm eating and I'm holding on to this weight. I'm not eating and I'm looking skinny. What you got, a tapeworm? What, you sick? I remember people, if you lost any amount of weight in the 90s, a considerable amount of weight quickly, people will stop talking to you. Like, yo, I don't know, son, I might be a little sick.
Yeah.
Feel me?
It's like you in hospice.
Yeah. And so I remember being in my late 20s, early 30s, overweight because that was the mentality. Like, oh, that's healthy.
Right.
So if you live in such a psychosis, right, I don't understand why some people why they would be angry and mad, right? To perpetuate this mentality of violence and paranoia. Why would you bring that to your town, right? So you got places like okay, Atlanta, the city may have been affected by the crack, right? But that didn't mean that it needed to go to all of the other little surrounding counties and become all of this madness.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
And so I look around, and so when it comes to the drill thing, it's like they're operating from the past that they didn't experience because they're in the house. They're in the house playing video games. I wish I had some video games to play to stay my ass in the house. But that just wasn't the case. So I don't understand how they translate that to be, you got to be a gangster and all that. Like, what did that to you? Because there's origins to every villain.
Right.
You feel me?
That's what the drilling is, the video game for them.
Right.
Become the real life video game.
And so what has made them that apathetic?
Because they lost somebody. So what activates a drill culture now? It wasn't always like that, but the sacrifice is the cadaver. It's the body. Once the body drop, then the war starts, and then that's when they become from just crews and whatnot to drills. Especially if somebody make a song about it. Oh yeah, it's not if the body. First, it's the body is the sacrifice. It kicks it off. Blood starts the ritual.
Right.
And then there's the song. There's the song or something comes out, the disrespect, and then there's an eventual. Once there's a get back, then it kicks off. Like you said, antagonist, protagonist. Unless the body gets caught and they like, yo, we forgive you. Like how black people do the police and white people.
Right.
They're not. They don't get into drill culture with white people. But the minute they say, nah, fuck the forgiving, it's 8 of us. They took 1 of us. So we all made a pledge. We all made an oath. Now you twin. You know what I mean? And we're going to go to war. I mean, it's tribal as fuck. You know what I mean? It's primal. It's tribal. However, spiritually speaking, if a group of men decide to go to war for one of their brethren who fell and whatnot, I've been told that spiritually speaking, that's honorable. Even if you lose your life.
Okay, but that could be said. But these so like when you look at the drill situation, like Vaughn not from originally where he became the bang at. He was from someplace else, right?
Right.
So who you killing people over who? You don't know these people that long. Like, what bonds have you made? You understand? Like, so okay. So when the drill kids start out, they be essentially be like in their like, but Chief Keef and them started out, they're like 18, 19, right?
Nah, they were younger than that.
Nah, because they're not that old. I mean, because they old now.
He was 16. He was 16 in 2011. He got signed when he was 17. I know specifically because the article that I was reading, They signed him to $6 million. They couldn't release it to him because he was 17. They had to give it to his grandmother, put in a trust because he was still a youth. So
Okay.
so hold on. Let's remember, he's in perfect alignment with the rappers who are 16 and 17 of our generation. Every
Right.
generation, the ones who pop off, the ones who get lit are usually 16, 17, 18.
Right.
When we grow up, we looking at them like, look at these little kids and whatnot. But we got to remember, Nas and them niggas was young. Everybody was young. They had that mentality where they were mimicking gangsters. They would
Right.
become. They wanted to be mafioso. They wanted to be tough and whatnot. In the lyrics, then it's like, yo, somebody in your entourage got to be about that life. You don't got to be the one catching the body, but they got to have somebody in your entourage or your affiliation got to be about that life. Then
Right.
these niggas say, I'm going to be blood. Fuck having somebody in the crew. I'm going to affiliate with a whole gang that be killing shit. All right, I'm a Crip. So even if I'm not killing shit, I'm associated with the killers. Then the newer niggas, the children of Ray Ray and them from Cabrini Green, that's Chief Keef, that's Little Durk. Little Durk's father was Big Durk. He was active when the Chicago shit was the shit we would see on Gangland.
Okay.
Remember when that's Larry Hoover, Fallout, Jeff Fort, Fallout, and whatnot. So that's their
Okay.
little brother, that's their children, that's their seeds and whatnot. That's why these little kids, that's why Dirk and them niggas was naming themselves after they said No Limit, Dipset, Brick
Right.
Squad. They were naming
Right.
themselves after the rappers that was lit.
Right. Right.
So once
Right.
one body got dropped and it was get back for it, they hopped into the fucking streets.
Right. But
But the
see, this is what
difference,
I'm saying.
yeah,
They killing about kids that you only know them for a year. You met him in high school.
right.
Connection. You don't know him. You don't know his mama. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, when I was growing up, by the time I was 16, I was already OG because I had been away. You know what I'm saying?
That's what
You
I'm
know what I'm
saying.
saying?
We was active at 13.
This is what my point. And so in that, you learn, you get a chance to pick whether or not that you want this lifestyle or not.
Or not, right. Right, you do.
If you 19 and you go on your first jukes or your first slide and you get jammed, you ain't never been to jail before. You don't even know if you're built for that.
Right.
When you 13, 14, you get jammed up, they take you away from home, which is a right time because this is,
But Vaughn
like
was
you
getting
haven't even
jammed.
gotten
Yeah.
your,
Vaughn was
yeah, you
getting jammed up at that age.
right. So by the time you get to be 16, 17, you're like, nah, son, I'm not doing anything that doesn't benefit my lifestyle, meaning my mom's and them, right?
Right. But
Because
let me
we
share
can't spin
something
the
with you.
block. Right, because we can't spin the block because I gotta go to the store and get eggs for my mama.
Right. Right. So to add on to what you saying about the demon shit through the spirits working through the digital, right? Spirits working through this Maya, this illusion called the internet, right?
Right,
When the young drill niggas who popped off and started saying, yo, we gonna clap at our enemies and we gonna rap about it, we gonna get this shit lit. Twitter, right? The digital shit started taking place. They started becoming viral, right? And they started making a few dollars. And then these record labels came and started throwing bags at them. So they went from not having no bread and whatnot and just doing shit out of poverty and doing shit because they had nihilistic minds and whatnot. Because they was in the gutter, they in the hood like everybody else when they was 12 and 13, going through this type of shit where fist fights could turn into shootouts.
right.
You feel me?
And that's the thing. We wasn't, it wasn't
And
about
remember,
killing
they
nobody. It
right,
was about get back, right? And if it
but
go too far, it
yeah,
escalates,
it
right?
escalates, right? But not
But
off
it
the
was
rip. It wasn't that
nah,
off the rip.
nah. You could get a fair one. You feel me?
You could get a
Things
fair
go
one.
bad if you cut somebody. Like if you cut somebody, you got to deal with that because son might he got the right to feel however he want. If he want to continue that beef, let him go ahead. Right?
Right,
You pluck somebody, ain't nobody die. all right, that shit is forgivable. You feel me?
Right.
People that ended up dead, when you got shot and you got killed, it was either by accident, like they ain't mean to kill you, or you owe somebody some money, and that button was pressed.
That button was
You feel
pressed.
me?
Right. Right.
We didn't know nothing about motherfuckers just going out killing people for no reason. And so that's why I said, what has made them so apathetic that they're like, it don't matter.
There's an aspect that I gotta add that I didn't add into this whole equation that kind of like solidifies what took place and why this is different from everything else. They turned the neighborhood into the name of the quote unquote. Remember, let's talk spirit.
Right.
Let's talk that there's somebody that got sacrificed, and then people say, you know what? That person is our martyr. We're riding for his spirit. We're gonna ride, we're gonna do the mural, we're gonna put the candles out, we're gonna put the water out, we're gonna put his name on. We never gonna forget his name, so we're gonna put it on O Block. We're gonna change the name of the hood into his name. So think about energy as an umbrella, right? So think about the oath like an umbrella. Now everybody inside the Parkway complex, everybody inside that projects, everybody on that block, because some of these blocks, them shits is like 8 blocks long, you know, the territory of these hoods. And they like, yo, on everything, we all gonna put our oath to you know what I mean? However they do their oath, whether it's a blood oath, whether niggas get jumped in, whatever it is. Sometimes it's a sex oath. They get a whole bunch of the shorties and they just have a whole, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, but they say, yo, this is for life. Some people get it tatted on them. It's up from there, bro. That's how it starts. It's up from there. And then, like I said, it's a real life video game.
Well, see, that's the hit. So now we're going to another. You go into another layer.
They've been conditioned already for killing, and we wasn't conditioned like that for killing. Simulation wise,
no.
Killing. All right.
Hear me out. The tattooing.
Yes. Tattooing.
Okay. When you die,
yes,
there are certain deities whose job is to count your bones and make sure you go back with what you came with.
Damn.
When you are scratched on the body and you take an oath, you essentially get all of the perks of that group that you belong to, the perks and the hazards. Right?
Right.
So the moment you tattoo your body, whatever you tattoo on your body, this is an indication to the underworld, to the afterlife of what you believe, what you swore to.
Right. Your oath in blood.
Absolutely. So I don't have no tattoos on my body. The only tattoos I have are scarifications from ritual. Right. So that when I go into the other world, I got certain VIPs because I got those, you know what I mean? Nah, so I belong over there. I need to be on the other side of that rope.
Right.
When you put all that ink in your body, first of all, it impedes you from ascending. Because they're putting lead inside of you. And what do they talk about with the alchemists? Lead holds things down.
Right, it does.
It doesn't allow for things to flow through them.
Right.
Right? It becomes an insulator, not a conductor.
Right.
Right? So now all these children with these tattoos on their face and their neck, when they die, the proverbial Anubis in them are going to look at what you wrote on your skin.
Right.
So the moment you put the gang on you, you got to go down for the gang. You got to die. You got to take one of these hits for the gang because you inked it in your body.
Right.
Right? This is so forever so that, you know, because skin, hair, and nails continue to grow even after you die.
It does.
So
the largest organ
it's the largest organ in your body. So now if you got lead in it with these quotations in it, it's going to keep you from ascending.
Damn, that's heavy, bro. That's heavy.
Okay?
I'm non-tatted. I've been fighting a neck tat for years, man. I promise
Nah,
you.
you don't do it because,
Every woman
again,
that I've huh?
you don't do it because it would be so like, if I was a Marine, right?
Yes.
And I get to simplify with all my brothers,
Right, right.
right? Okay, we just made a pact because
Right.
we already have took an oath to something, right?
Right.
Okay. So the moment that you make that pact, what is your intention? What is the intention of the organization?
Right.
Is it to offend or defend? Is it to, you know what I mean, for nefarious reasons? Is it for racketeering? What is this group that you have joined, that you have sworn to, that you now have inked with lead in
Into
your
your
body?
That's crazy.
You feel me? So that,
Yeah.
if, for instance, it would be different if you in red, I mean, if you in blue was like, yo, we're gonna get these tats, and this is our oath to each other. That's
Right.
something different because you define the symbol and what it means to you all, right? And you
Right.
guys are taking this oath in blood.
Right.
But now you got some kid that's taking a blood oath to some people that I don't even know who your mother is.
Facts.
I don't know your mom. I don't even know your middle name.
Right.
Nah, I'm not fitting to spin or slide or do none of that for you because, I suffered, you know what I'm saying, death of homeboys very, very early, right?
Right.
I
Me as
wouldn't be here
well.
to talk to you if I decided to slide every time there was a problem.
Right.
Some shit you got to understand, you got to take on the chin because it's a kamikaze mission. And who's going to be here to tell the story?
Right.
See, because there's a million crews. You hear about the famous people, you hear about the Tuts and this one and that one, but there's other crews, there was other people out there, right?
Right.
But if the whole team crashed out and mashed out, who gonna tell the story?
Right. There ain't gonna be nobody left.
Nobody left. You don't exist. You feel
Right.
me? You don't exist. If don't nobody be there to tell the story, you don't exist. It's all good if you shot 100 threes in the park, but if you was by yourself, it don't count
It don't count. Right. There's nobody to document it. There's
at
no
all. No
right.
record.
No ledger.
You're right. You have not stained time where there's a memory that connects some people together.
Because the most important thing is being, it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish it. And it all boils down to who's the last one running the race. That's whose movie it was.
So don't nobody else get to tell the story because they jammed up in the dirt or they jammed up in the cement.
Right.
Right?
However, I've also seen too, and what kind of like gave me a reminder, because it's always been in my mind. But when Meech came home, right, I said, damn, I remember coming to New York from Miami in the same year that they got locked up. So
Mhm.
he's able to go to jail and come home within the same span of time. And, I'm still, you know what I mean? Like, that wasn't really a long time.
Nah,
You know
that
what I
was,
mean?
I don't know because I wasn't there. But
I'm
based
just
on
talking
the
about the
variables,
time that the brother was locked up.
yeah, I'm saying based on the variables,
Right.
he got it light.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Right.
he wasn't even forgotten, right?
Right.
He was right back out, which is
Right.
not usually what happens to kingpins, right?
Right.
Um, but they were so enamored with him becoming the icon for the stupidity.
Right.
So, I don't, like I said, I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? He's a man, but from my vantage point, I have issues with him because I'm like, yo, son, you could have got away. You could have went away. It was a $500 million liquid that you could touch. You were supposed to go to Haiti and take over. Like you know what I mean? Like nah, son. Like
It go
because
back to the drill thing and with Little Dirk, and I'll be trying to explain, not trying to explain, but it's once again something that came to me that is two ways out. You know, we know that it's two ways out. You know what I mean? They tell
no,
us
but
that it's three. Well, it's three
no, but
ways
there
out. It
isn't.
is three ways out. It is
No,
three.
no,
It's
no,
not
no.
always.
Let me enlighten you.
Mm-hmm.
That is the narrative that they would want you to believe that there's only two ways out.
Well, for the drill rappers, I'm talking about.
Okay, for the
That,
drill rappers,
for,
but I'm just
for the
talking
drill
about
rappers, there's two ways.
I'm just talking about the ghetto entrepreneurship
Yeah.
meets. So we celebrate the wrong thing. We celebrate niggas who go to jail. You failed.
You fail, yeah.
You fell. You didn't pass the obstacle course. You are not the American gladiator.
Right.
And
Well,
so we don't celebrate those who got away with the shit, right? The ones who played the game correctly that wasn't gonna buy helicopters and do all of that silly stuff, that was investing that money in other people and other things. You know what I mean? Like, think about how much spending power that is. $500 million he had liquid. We ain't talking about the cars and the helicopters and the houses. They confiscated $500 million.
500 million.
500 million. That's not, they're not talking about when they seized the cars. I'm talking
Right.
about in liquidable cash when they caught when they got to all of the holes and everything, all the money that was supposed to be his.
His, right.
It was $500 million, son.
Right.
Nah, homie. I gotta critique you. I gotta be like, you fucked up.
Right.
Fucked up. Because if all you got out of it was a TV show, then that shit is egotistical and narcissistic than a motherfucker.
Right. One would
Cause
say that he got his life because the ultimate loss is when your shit get pushed back. That's game over. That's the losing part. If you're able to come back and get to it again, might not be 500, might not whatever it is. You back at it. Now you're doing it with your son. They're gonna throw money at you legally now. You get the opportunity to change your path, change your direction. You can't sell drugs and you can't not in these days. You can't do anything illegal right now anymore. You can't be a part of that. You got to be on your. Nah, I'm
so now here's where the disconnect comes in. He lived the life he lived because you said that you can't take it with you. So he had intentions on letting that star burn out.
right.
Right? So that they have a saying in Africa, once you're the king, you can't be nothing else.
That's right. That's right.
You can't be nothing else. You can't be an old king. What are you talking about? Kings
Right.
die, right?
King God.
Princes are
Right.
born. You feel me? And
Mm-hmm.
so you have to necessarily pledge allegiance to something because if that's what you're gonna do, if you pick that road and you want to go out in a blaze of glory,
Right.
then go on ahead. Because that's how you went. You already accepted that, and you've accepted the terms that
That the
come with that.
terms that come with it. Right. Right.
Right?
That's go back to what I was saying about the drill shit. They accepted the terms. That these are children at war is different than kingpins getting money selling coke and having an operation these kids they don't have no operations. They wasn't kingpins and killers and drill rappers. They were
Right.
they were killers and drillers who they can't really rap. The one who had some type of different the golden child of that whole scene is Dirk, right? Not really Chief Keef, the golden child of that whole scene, the one they said had the most talent and potential, who they sort of superstar in, who covered mostly all of the brackets was that young man. All of them other
Mm-hmm.
kids were mediocre at best, and then some of them were horrible. The Bronx drill rappers, Pop Smoke, he's the exception out of the whole bunch. The rest of them, they making a lot of noise, bro. They're not rapping. They're not giving you bars. they're the equivalent of what mumble rap was giving us or ringtone, you know what I mean? Of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, niggas just making words rhyme to talk about what it is that they're doing. But these are now gangbangers and, you know, people, there's literally gangbangers who decide that, you know what, we're going to rap about what we're doing.
And this is due to the fact that Chicago is ionized. It is a very different ley line.
Very different.
And there is some ancestral, reconciliation that needs to happen. You know, it was named by an African.
After African, yeah. And that
Right?
has to, yeah.
It was named after an African. So for that type of and it's the only place I've ever been in my whole life where you walk into like a diner and they have like a no gun sign. Like they had the gun with the motherfucking the Ghostbuster sign over it. And I was like, is that need to be said? Like I ain't never been no place where that was needed to be said. Like, don't bring your gun into the diner. You feel me? Like, word? So there's something about the ley line there, and there is some antiquitable conflict that they're playing out.
Yeah, yeah. It's tribal, you know.
Yeah.
Tribal.
And they are
And water.
unfortunately, yeah. And so you think about all of the souls that were disseminated after they destroyed Cabrini Green.
Yeah, yeah, all of that. That was let go. You know, dispersed and things of that.
All that sorrow and all that disappointment and all that all
angst,
that
right, all that pain,
that angst
that angst.
within those buildings. And when they knocked them down, it's like the Ghostbusters. You know, when they open up the ghost chamber and all the ghosts start popping out.
Right.
Well, that's what happened, right? And again, we're not tapped into the spiritual because everybody is looking for power. And when you're dealing with spiritualism, you're supposed to be looking for resignation.
Mm.
You're supposed to be looking to find your peace and find that thing that you can do that makes you who you are. So, like, I watched the whole thing the other day about these Chinese guys, how it was some kind of bone that they took, and they took the bone and they cut it, and before you know it, they used the bone as relief on these wooden doors that they were making. And
I
dude,
seen that.
right?
Crazy. He buried the bone.
Yes.
Chiseling that shit, sanding it down.
Yeah.
Then he put the bones on the door, and it gave like some type of yo, that was crazy.
Right? Now, so imagine that someone will have that table, that piece of furniture in their home, irregardless of whether or not they know his name. Mm-hmm. He existed because they can tangibly touch something that he left in time.
In time, right. A work of art.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Ritual. He put a ritual. That was a whole ritual that he showed us.
Whole ritual. Now, the same goes for, if you would imagine that our transition of existence is the same as if you imagine the stages of a chair in your house, a wooden chair. So it's a chair in your house, but at some point it was a piece of lumber.
Right.
And that lumber was a tree. And that tree was a bush. And that bush was a plant. And that plant was a seed.
Right.
Right? So now, every time it changed existence, it became something else. Right? So it went from a seed, it broke out of the seed, it became a sprout, right?
Right.
And then from the sprout, it begins to grow, and it has a whole lot of different. Each stage has its pitfalls, right? Because a bug could come along and eat it, right? Somebody could pull it out, step on it, but no, it made it through that. It made it through the shade of other trees. It got the light, it was able to grow. It became a plant, then it got to a bush, and then it became a tree. And then as a tree, it had all kinds of other functions. Somebody might have sat under the tree for shade. They might have climbed in the tree for safety, right? Then one day somebody come through and they get to cutting all them trees. But that tree, he got picked. He got picked to be lumber, and that lumber ended up in the carpenter's house. And that carpenter made and fashioned a chair. Now, that chair might have been a gift, and then it became an heirloom of her family members that now the chair, don't nobody even sit in the chair no more, but it got a space in the house because it's been exalted. So now you think about the stages of that seed. That seed did not know that it would one day become exalted and put into a place where it was taken care of and polished and dusted off.
Right. Shit, it
So,
could be a chair that somebody took to the damn White House with them.
Exactly. Right? Because the tree that's inside the White House that became a desk or whatever, it's not the same tree that is not equal to the tree that became paper, that got crumbled up in the class and hit somebody in the back of the head.
Right. It's in a landfill.
Yeah. Right? It got some bullshit was written on it. Right? Bad words was written on it. A bad letter, a breakup letter was written on it. You know what I mean? Or it became some legal papers for somebody to go to jail or somebody to lose something. So all of these different variations and variables of life, because the tree, it still exists inside the chair. So
even oil with these plastics, the oil of the earth.
So we will revere everything that, you know, one of the labels that they like to put on this is animist. And that's cool because we believe that everything is animated. Just because you don't see it walk don't mean it don't.
Right. You don't have the sight to see as far into it walking.
No. It don't want you to know that it walks. They made a pact that all the chairs was like, yo, don't let nobody know that we can walk. Okay?
Toy Story.
Right, exactly. And so the reality is that the spiritual thing, like, so all the stuff that we're going through, remember that, you know, as original man, we go through these things before everybody else.
Right.
Everybody else is going to have the same issues at some point. Don't you get it twisted. You heard? There'll be a time when Asian Americans is going through what we're going through.
Fact.
You heard? There'll be a time when that'll happen. You feel me?
That's a fact.
Because you don't know the relationship between, you don't know what the relationship between China and America has ahead for us, right? They may do some heinous stuff to us. They might do some foul 9/11 shit, and we'd be like, fuck the Chinese, right? And then at some point when China fall and they gotta look for refuge and they come in and then we treat them bad because we don't forget that shit y'all niggas did, right? So each one of these ethnicities has the probability of going through what we're going through, right? And we're just, because we're original man, we gotta go through this shit so everybody else can see what it look like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, I'm about to get off here because I gotta make some, you know what I mean?
I do too, King.
I gotta shuffle up some stuff.
It's been a beautiful build. I tapped in with Knowledge. He told me that he's gonna be here and y'all got something going, so we're gonna link up. And
you know, I'm in the town, man. I just be staying low because I'm trying to do some things. I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to do some things, trying to get some organizations going, you know what I mean?
Right.
And bit by bit, you know what I'm saying? We take care of that shit. So I'm not rushing because I ain't Russian. I'm African.
Right. Africa.
You know what I mean? I ain't Russian.
We ain't Russian because we ain't Vladimir.
I ain't Russian. I ain't Putin.
Yeah.
It's taking my time. You feel me?
Yeah.
But
we're gonna get up though. We're gonna link up while we out here.
Say less.
All right.
Yo, peace to the gods, peace to my niggas, knowledge, you know what I mean? Born. And to the family out there, continue to tilt your head to see the things from different vantage points. Don't just look at it, you know what I mean, straight up. Tilt your head sometimes and see, you know what I mean? You might see something upside down. So,
Right.
Everybody can be diligent and don't get caught up in all this race bait and shit, man. It's just not that serious.
It
Sure?
really ain't. It really
Bro.
ain't. I co-sign that. It is really not that serious.
Yeah.
Focus, you know what I mean? And if you focus first on yourself, and then if you focus on the people who are really beneficial, then you won't even shit like that wouldn't even it wouldn't be creating your reality. It will
No,
not be
it
creating
can be.
reality.
It can be. You gotta. This is where you got. If we could believe in all of this power of the mind, then we can believe that love will prosper and that I could kill you with love.
That's right. That's right. They more scared of that. I promise you. They're way more scared of that. If they see the love, them niggas, they'll get nervous. So the universe is showing you the antagonist is riling up because y'all out here drilling each other and doing dumb shit. It's a natural reaction to see shit like that. There's some love that needs to be restored, and then that other side becomes more balanced. It's almost like a projection screen. People talk about that race shit, they're just talking about, it's the illusion, it's the projection. It's like having a war within.
Yeah,
It's,
but if
you have,
shit go
huh?
bad, my nigga, I don't want to have to consider what color you are if I need to get some beans.
You feel me?
You understand? I need to be, you know what I'm saying? I need what do they call that? Cross lateral, you know what I'm saying? Love across the board so motherfuckers can
Bro, that's
survive. You know
that's
what I
a
mean?
super fact.
Word. But yo, I'm out. Peace
All right, peace to the God.
to the God.